Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. Glad you're with us. Our guest is Mike Feuer, member of the California State Assembly. Sir, I want to talk to you about the foreclosure crisis in our state and nation. As you know, the Attorney General of our state joined 48 other states in entering into a settlement with major banks dealing with an element of the foreclosure process called robo-signing. Could you explain that to us and how it impacts Californians?
Oh, sure. California has actually been the epicenter of the foreclosure crisis in the nation. And just to give your viewers a sense of why that matters to them, even if they currently aren't in foreclosure, when you have a crisis like we faced here, there's little incentive to build new houses because there are so many vacant houses. Housing construction has been a key to California's economy. When there's no housing construction, we have much less money cycling through our economy. So there's a huge impact from this crisis on every single person.
And on top of that, if there are many homes in your neighborhood going through foreclosure, even if it's a nice neighborhood, they wind up getting sold in short sales or whatever it may be, it can depress prices in your community.
And it's been a source of blight here in Los Angeles and in many cities throughout California. You know, of the 20 major metropolitan areas in the nation hardest hit by the foreclosure crisis, 10 of those 20 are in California.
That's true. And the others are next door in Arizona and Nevada.
Exactly. So it's really incumbent on us in leadership positions to get hold of how to respond to this, and we're going to do that.
So how does the settlement that was just reached impact Californians?
So there is a settlement, and there's also some legislation. I think that's a very important complement to that settlement. So the Attorney General Harris, held out for a better deal than originally was going to be on the table, and that has worked. So California has now joined a nationwide settlement that says for the 5 largest servicers of loans, Bank of America, JP Chase, and others, there are going to be new rules in place for how they can pursue foreclosures, and there'll be a significant amount of money directed to California homeowners to both reduce the principal that they owe in some cases if they're underwater on their homes. Some money will go to those who were foreclosed upon already.
Is it enough, though? I mean, the global settlement is $26 billion. That's a big chunk of change, but you know, when you divide that out, maybe it's a couple $1,000.
Well, that's the thing, is that for people who have already been foreclosed upon, the amounts of money that they'll receive will not be that significant to them. It'll be something. But it will also, the funds available will also enable the lenders to write down the principal on many existing mortgages. And that's a big deal. We all know that that's one of the key ingredients.
So you're not upside down.
Correct. But as a legislative matter, there's a great deal we can do in Sacramento to complement the work of the settlement.
Talk about it, because you have 2 bills you recently introduced. We'll focus on them briefly. The first deals with those that may not be English speakers.
Yes. And I actually want to talk about a third bill as well, if we could. But real quickly, currently it's not the law in California that foreclosure documents must be in the language of the person who is executing those documents. You can imagine how misleading that could be.
Sure.
There's a major piece of legislation I've introduced with a colleague of mine, Mike Ng, who chairs our banking committee, that would enact for all servicers an element of the settlement that was just put in place. And that would say, if you are currently in negotiations or have a loan modification, you can't at the same time be foreclosed upon by the bank. Many of us in office have heard again and again from constituents, my loan is being modified, I'm talking to the bank, and one set of folks are saying, let's keep talking. In the meantime, they're foreclosing on me. That ought not be allowed to continue.
In our final moments, what about what we know as forced placed insurance?
Yes, so this is a nationwide issue hitting Californians hard, and that is when the lender believes, rightly or wrongly, that your insurance is no longer up to date on your home. They put insurance on your home and they make you pay often exorbitant rates to do it.
And you want to illegalize that.
Yes, and exorbitant rates often put in place by subsidiaries of the lenders themselves. We can do better than that.
Okay, he's Mike Feuer. I'm Pomerance. Thanks for watching Time Warner Cable's Local Edition. Back to HLN.